Welcome to the Block Church. This is our online experience, and I am so glad that you're here. If it's your first time with us, we would love to hear more about you. Text TBC Guests to 94000 and fill out that connection card. We get the honor and the privilege to give of our finances. And today, I just want to encourage you that the best part about being a Christian, about following Jesus, is there's always a next step to take. There's never really there's seasons of plateau, but we get to continue walking with Jesus, and he calls us to the next exciting thing. And giving is the same way. We get the opportunity to take a step. So maybe you've never given before. And I want to encourage you to really pray and ask God, should I begin to tithe? And I guarantee you, he'll give you a next step. So maybe you've never given and it's time to just give once or twice. Maybe you tip here and there, a few dollars, there, here. I want to encourage you to start tithing regularly. Give your 10% consistently from every paycheck. And if you give constantly, I want to encourage you to go above and beyond. Pray to God and say, God, I want to be an extravagant giver. Would you give me the number? Would you give me the whatever it is that you're calling me to do? It's the best part about walking with Jesus is there's always a next level, always a risk to take in faith and see his goodness provide. So if you'd like to give through the Block Church today, you can do so by texting TBC Give to 94000. Today is Block Groups Launch Sunday. That means Block Groups start this week, and I would love for you to get in one. Pastor Joey is going to be interviewing a few of our premier block group leaders so you can get a look behind the scenes of what it's like to be in a block group and why it's so important for you to be a part of them. So I don't want to keep you from it. Let's get started.
Come on, whatever you need, he's got it. All you got to do is tell him what you need. You may have never heard this song before, but you're going to sing it today. You're going to sing with confidence and authority. Because our God is so good, he has everything we need. Come on, everyone. Knock, and the door will be open. Ask, and you shall receive. If you have any questions about my God, ask me how I know he made a way for me. Bring all your problems and all your cares. Come to the altar and leave them there. I promise keeper, I know his way.
I promise keeper, I know his way.
But trust my God, cause he got everything. So tell him what you need. Tell him what you need. Tell him what you need. Come on. Tell him what you need. 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 Say he's got everything.
He's got everything.
Tell him what you
need.
He is the answer.
He is the answer.
For every problem.
For every problem.
Look at his record.
Look at his record.
He carries no loss.
He carries no loss.
May not come when you want.
May not come when you want him.
But he's an on-time God. Don't you hesitate. Come on. So tell him what you need. Tell him
what you need. Tell him what you need.
You wanna tell him.
Tell him what you need.
Tell him
what you need.
Tell him what you need.
Tell him what you need.
Say he's got everything.
He's got everything.
Tell him what you.
Tell him what
Bring
you
all your
need.
problems.
Bring all your problems and all your cares.
Come to the altar and leave them there.
Come to the altar and leave them there.
I promise keeper, I know his way.
I promise keeper, I know his way.
Oh, but trust my God, cause he's got everything. So tell him what you need. Tell him what you need. He's got
He's got everything.
He's got everything.
He's got everything.
He has everything you need.
He's got everything.
Whatever you came looking for,
He's got everything.
whatever you came searching for,
He's got everything.
He's got everything.
He's got everything.
So tell her what,
Tell her what you
put your hands together. Come on, I need somebody that knows that everything that you need, you can find it in Jesus. He's got everything you need. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we praise you, Jesus. Come on, so we make this declaration. Everything you need is God.
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 Oh, oh, tell her what.
Tell her what you
Say
need.
everything you need is God.
Everything you need is
No matter the issue, no matter the problem,
Everything you need is
no matter the problem, Jesus can solve it.
Everything you need is God.
He's got everything. So tell her what you need. Somebody lift your voice and give Jesus some praise. Everything you need is God. Everything you need is God.
Well, hey, everybody. My name is Joey. I'm the lead pastor right here at the Block Church. I want to welcome all of our locations, online and physical locations. And today, we're heading into week 6 of our series, How to Get Close to God. It's been a great series so far. But we're in for a treat today because we're actually launching our summer session of Block groups. And it's a 6-week session, one of my favorites because while many over the summer are traveling and vacationing, these 6 weeks are a great opportunity for those who want to stay connected to their church in the midst of their summer busyness, to be able to do that, stay connected to community, and also for those who've never joined a group, to join one. It's only 6 weeks, and you can do anything for 6 weeks. So we're going to have a conversation today with some great people, and then at the end, I'm going to turn it over to your location pastor, who will preach shortly from God's word about community. All right, so before we dive into the conversation, let's take a look at our summer session dates. All right, guys, hey, week 6 of How to Get Close to God. Have you enjoyed the series so far?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Good, I'm glad. Would you lie to the lead pastor, though, if he
No.
asked you that? Okay,
never.
so we don't know. Anyway, we're talking block groups today, getting close to God through community. And I thought you guys would be the perfect people to sit and talk about this. Longtime block group leaders and those who've been in groups. And actually, I'm sitting with Laura, who is our longest tenured block group leader.
Wow.
We're sitting with royalty right now.
Yeah.
That's her. And how we met is funny. Do you want to tell them how we met?
Yeah, sure. So when we first came to the Block Church, my husband and I drove up to the Port Richmond location, and we're looking for parking, and Pastor Joey happened to be standing outside, and we thought, oh, cool, a parking attendant. and we asked him about parking, and conveniently someone pulled out, and he's like, look, right here's a spot. And then we went in.
I waved you in. I waved
You did.
Oh.
He actually waved us right
He
to
kinda
a
played
spot.
himself then.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get inside, and then at that point, Pastor Joey gets up on stage and starts singing with the worship group. So we were like, oh, wow, so he's also like the worship leader, I guess. And then proceeds to start to preach. So we were like, this guy is a jack of all trades. He does
Wow.
it all.
They call me the Joe of all trades.
Joe of all trades.
Ah.
Right.
Wow.
You like that?
See what you did, yeah.
Yeah, I used to have to do everything, and I didn't have a lot of support, but here I am. I got a little help now, so
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I probably should let somebody else do that, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you stayed. You had to endure all that,
Right.
So tell me, guys, a little bit. All right, so you've led block groups, okay, and
Yep.
you've been in block groups.
Yeah, both.
How many groups have you led?
This is my first one.
First one. Great. That's awesome. How about
Been in
you?
many other groups. So.
Okay, great.
I think I've been leading for like 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Almost.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's great.
like I took a 1-session break at one point, but yeah, almost consistent.
Any like funny, weird things take place in any block groups?
Yeah, so, we love icebreakers, especially with new people. And a couple years ago, I came up with one that I thought was hilarious. It was, do you fold or crumple your toilet paper? And we had a heated debate about it.
Heated, huh?
Yeah. We, eventually got to the sermon. But fast forward maybe a year or so, and I came up with another icebreaker for my group at the time, which was, what's the worst icebreaker you've ever done? And somebody immediately said, ooh, one time we had this long talk about toilet paper, and it was terrible.
That's awesome.
You forgot that, it was my idea, so.
Wow, that's amazing. So this leadership, man, you find out later on, you just weren't as good as you thought,
Exactly.
No, that's pretty funny. Ebony, you got anything?
Yeah, in one of the groups I heard of, somebody told me that someone got bit by a dog in their group.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm assuming everything's okay. However, that's still, yeah.
And you still chose to be a leader anyway.
I just decided to try it and see.
Amen. No dog bites yet?
No, there better not be.
Okay. Okay. That's good. So, all right. So you guys been leading. You've been in groups. Funny things happen, but I mean, it's part of community. The whole point is to laugh, have fun, get closer to each other, and that would result in hopefully getting closer to God as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to ask you, just maybe even a break from groups necessarily in community, but we've been in this series talking about how to get close to God. Is there anything specific that maybe you've done or you do that has led you to get close to God or closer to God? Ian, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I think a pretty new practice for me has been Sabbath. It's not something that I've really made a point to do intentionally for most of my walk with the Lord, but recently I've decided to really carve out that time and set aside time for rest, and not just relaxing, but resting in God. And I found that it not only brings me closer to God on the day that I do it, but also it makes it easier to get close to God throughout the rest of the week too.
It's great. It's amazing what happens when we follow God's plan and idea.
It's like he knows.
Yeah, it's like he knows, exactly. Ebony, anything you got?
Yeah, I find myself getting closer to God when I'm intentional about my morning, and I'm getting up before the sun is out. It's just something about the quiet of the morning. I think just really helps, and just to have my own private worship time with Him and to read the Bible. I just feel when it's quiet, when I'm intentional about it and not just rushing into the day, I feel God meets me and gives me just direction for the day.
I've noticed similarly in my own life, I got to get up extra early before the kids get up, and I got to go find a quiet, secret place. But when I start reading, even if I just read a page and kind of just hone in on, okay, I just read this, I underline this, and I just meditate, God, what are you saying there? I don't know, there's something about that. I mean, my whole day is different. For sure. Maybe that's just how I'm built. Yeah. But I agree to that. Yeah. Anything you have, Laura?
Yeah, so I am not a morning person at all. And my whole adult life, I have struggled with the notion of getting up early. I just am not good at it. But I actually tend to have really great prayer time in the evening. As I'm ready to go to bed, I'll typically pull out the YouVersion and read a devotional, and we'll pray. And to be honest, sometimes I will fall asleep praying, but what a great way to fall asleep.
Absolutely.
And I wake up in the morning, it will often have the last thing that I was thinking about as I was falling asleep on my mind first thing in the morning. So
I love that you said that, because everybody's different.
Right.
And everyone has to figure out their way to connect with God and grow spiritually. And I think sometimes we give these kind of prescriptions, which can be good because they're description in nature, but we can't get boxed into some of that. I pray by taking a walk.
Right.
That works for me. I've got crazy ADD. You know what I'm saying? I need in community. I need to sit and process out loud. I'll say to people, I'll say, Ian, I want to talk. Let's grow with the Lord. But I'm going to say a lot of things that aren't right. Let me say it, and I'll work it out till I get there. You come correct me after. Yeah. Everybody's got to find their rhythm with the Lord. And I love that you guys just shared uniquely kind of your way to connect. That's really good. So going back to community and groups, because it's a big factor in people growing. What are some, maybe even hesitations you had or I don't know, barriers that you overcame in getting in a group, maybe getting in community, or even leading?
Yeah.
Laura?
I would say getting in a group to begin with. At the Port Richmond location, when we first got there, my husband and I felt like we were probably still kind of are older than a lot of people there. And I felt a little, put off and intimidated by that. Like, are people going to think that's weird or whatever? But as soon as we just decided to go, and actually I went on my own to a couple of groups, and then my husband and I did a few together, and then eventually I started to lead them. So for me, it was like kind of, I don't know, it was like an age thing maybe, but it all worked out beautifully.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Ian, what do you got?
Yeah, so I think whenever I go into like a new setting with other Christians, there's always a tendency that I have to like kind of think that everybody has it all together, and that like, wow, these people are doing faith like so well. There's no way they're struggling with the same things that I'm struggling with. And on a Sunday, like, you're not really gonna like get deep with anybody like after the service to know about their problems, but yeah, getting into groups, I think, is the best way to like really like peel back the curtain.
It's great.
And understand that like even though we're all struggling with the same things, like God is still working in their lives, and like He can still work in my life too.
Yeah, I love that you illuminated that, because sometimes we can witness people at church. They got their hands raised, they're texting 94000, they're sending their, whatever. And it's like, man, these people got it together, and it's like, and then it is intimidating. You don't really know. Maybe everybody's a perfect Christian, or maybe everybody's just human.
Right.
But you don't know until you go.
Wow.
And
rhyme too.
Preacher.
Good slogan.
And so, but you know what I'm saying? It's like you don't know, and then you sit in community, and they're like, "Oh, you're the same person that had your hand up." Maybe like you're just authentic, which is where I think we find authentic community.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you really are seeking God, but you also got some struggles, and you've got some successes I can grow from, and you don't know until you go.
Yeah.
I love that you said that. Ebony, talk to us. What are some barriers you've had to overcome?
For me, it was schedule. I feel like I've often had like a million things going at once.
Right.
But I think that once I just decided to do it anyway, and then I would prioritize my time around it. Because I think sometimes you have this idea of, well, I'm just gonna wait until this is done, or wait till I have time here. I'll do it next season. But I think that like by waiting, there's always gonna be 5 other things that jump on your plate. And so I think it's just deciding to do it, making the commitment, and then everything will just build around it. So that's kind of been like my take on it.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, there's always gonna be reasons why I can't do this or why. But you know what they used to say back in the day? A church alive is worth the drive.
Oh,
there's another rhyme for you. But it's true. Like a community that's alive, it's worth getting in the car or taking the bus or getting on the subway and getting there. And the enemy does everything he can to fight you, to keep you from that. But then you get there, and you have your sip of coffee or tea, and then you're laughing and you're in community. You're like, man, I'm so glad I came today. So are there different barriers for leading as opposed to attending?
I can start off. So I think that when you start to think about leading, you think a little bit about like, well, I don't have everything together. My life isn't perfect. I still struggle with things. And I think for me, it was the idea of that we're going to grow together, that you don't have to have it perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. But I think just being willing to be vulnerable and to kind of go through life together is the idea that I just had in regards to leading. We don't have to have it all together. We're gonna do this life thing together. We're gonna do life together, and we'll see how it goes.
It's great.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to add anything to that? You don't have to.
I would just say, when I'm responsible for like any event, really, like I tend to take like a lot of the like burden on myself, as far as like how other people experience it. Like I want everybody to have a good time, right? And when I'm thinking about like leading a block group, especially in my home, I tend to, worry like, oh, is it going to be awkward? Is it going to be weird? Like, what if nobody shows up? And without fail, like every single time, if it's 3 people that come or like 12 people that come, it's always a good time. Like God always moves, and like it's just, I guess, him telling me that like, you know, it's not my job to like bring the community, because like his spirit is going to do that.
So good. I think about actually, our church started as a block group. I mean, I had 2 girls who moved here from from one part of Pennsylvania and then from Florida to come be a part of the church. But before they got here, you know, I was in cabs. We didn't even I don't even know if Uber was going back, you know, in 2014. You know, I was inviting people in cabs, coffee shops. I mean, I had the craziest people just showing up at my South Philly house.
Wow.
And like, I'm like, how is this gonna go? Like, and is this gonna be awkward? And yeah, you had to work through some of the, I don't know you, you know, I just invited you off the street, you know.
Yeah.
We got a little more structure now, but it's like, but man, we open up that word and it's just like, it seems like the Spirit of God shows up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden strangers, you know, have a community, which I think is important, by the way. Sometimes this is said from our platforms, but you can move, especially in block groups, you can move from a crowd to a family, or from a crowd to a community.
Yeah.
But you got to overcome your personal barriers to get there. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
because you don't know unless you go. Exactly. So
Getting it.
all right, let's move on. How do block groups typically help people get close to God? Lay that out for us. Laura, you want to start?
Sure. So I think that it just gives people a weekly touch point outside of, you know, Sunday church. I think that's a big part of it, right? That they get to have conversations with people. And like you were saying, you don't really get into a deep conversation in the lobby.
Right.
So they get to have deeper conversations with people. And I think another just invaluable thing that I've experienced over and over again in different block groups is praying for each other, and how that just draws you closer to each other, and of course to God, you know, that you're just coming before him with requests. And
Great. Maybe some people are even learning to pray in groups.
yes, very much so.
Great.
True.
Ebony, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think it's you learn from each other, but I think it's they make you better and you make them better. You know, just like you're bringing your authenticness, they're bringing theirs, and I think that's like how you start to reflect like what being a Christian should look like when you have like 5, 6 people, they all kind of blend in and you kind of start to look like Christ together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That reminds me of
Ian, finish us.
iron sharpens iron. I mean, I don't remember the reference, but maybe you do. So iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Like that's exactly what that made me think of.
You don't have to be perfect, so we come as we are. You make me better, I make you better. The next day, the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
so.
The longer in godly community, I mean, that's going to lead you closer to the Lord, because it's like, this is, you are the sum total of the people you stay connected to, you know, in a lot of ways. And if you're in Christian community, it's going to lead you there. I want to finish with maybe like a quick round here. So just tell us, if you got one sentence really, like why should somebody join a block group for a summer session? All right, Ian, tell us.
I think you might be worried that it's awkward, but you're really going to know like the people in your community better if you like actually get out there. You know, I'm basically saying you won't know unless you go.
Okay, Laura, tell us.
I think especially this session, it's only 6 weeks, as you yourself said.
Yeah.
You can do anything for 6 weeks,
That's
and
right.
there's online sessions. So you know you don't have, you can be just dressed from here up.
So basically going to work in 2020.
Exactly. You know, you don't have to worry about finding parking and all of that stuff. So there's lots of opportunities.
You want to finish this?
Yeah, I would say that you don't have to do this alone. And I think sometimes there's this idea that you don't want to tell people about your problems. Everybody looks like they're perfect Christians or whatnot. But I think that you don't have to go through life alone. And once you connect with someone, you actually get filled with the things that you need, and you don't self-sabotage yourself. So, yeah.
I love it. Man, I think these guys did a great job at every location. I hope you're cheering for them and giving them a round of applause. And I'm excited to now, at physical locations, turn it over to your location pastor, who's going to open up God's Word, going to give you a little more scripture around community and take it home. So, location pastors, take it away.
Block groups are incredible. It's a place where you'll have conversations you never thought you would have had with people that don't run in your normal day-to-day experience. You should sign up for a block group right now. You can do so on our website or our app. We have activity groups, groups that read the Bible together, groups that read books together and study and have fun. There's so many different things out there. You can even attend online or in person. There's a block group for everybody at a time that fits your life the best. So sign up today. And if it's your first time here with us, thank you so much for joining. We would love to hear about your experience today. So go ahead, text TBC guest to 94000. It's also not too late to give. You can give through the Block Church by texting TBC Give to 94000. We love you so much. Thanks for watching. Now stick around for next steps starting right now.
Thank you for being with us today online at the Block Church. We believe God has amazing and specific things for you that are best experienced when connecting with the local church. Our hope is that you would call the Block Church home and find community, learn the way of Jesus, and that our church would be a place to develop your gifts. No matter where you're at in your faith journey, you can grow here. Our mission is to revive every block, which means we welcome a diverse group of people to come together, be united with a mission to make a difference in your community. Right here, we have a place for you, and we want to be part of the story that God's writing in your life. Whether you're exploring faith or you've been a Christian for a long time, New to the Church is a great starting point for you. Every Block Church location offers this 4-week group led by the location pastor. These groups are 1 hour on Zoom, and they go over our core values, why we exist as a church, and different ways to get involved. There, you can ask any questions you have about our leadership, our church, and also meet others who are new as well. If you're watching our online service because you live outside a driving distance to one of our locations, join our New to the Church group online. If you're interested in connecting with one of our physical locations, join New to the Church for the location that best suits your needs. We hope you will take this next step this week and sign up for New to the Church. You can sign up now by texting TBCNEXT to the number on your screen, and we'll send you the sign-up link. We can't wait to meet you